You ever wake up one morning and something just feels off? Not bad, not good, just different. Like the world's slightly out of sync, and for a second you can't tell if it's the world that changed, or you. Maybe the air feels heavier, time moves slower, or your thoughts echo louder inside your head. You look around, and even familiar things seem to carry a strange new energy. That's not your imagination. That's the first ripple of a quantum jump, when your awareness slips out of its old frequency and lands somewhere new. It doesn't happen with fireworks or angels singing. It's quiet, subtle. Sometimes it hits after heartbreak, sometimes after a random night of staring at the ceiling, realizing you're not the same person anymore. See, reality doesn't flip like a light switch. It shifts. And when it does, you feel it before you can explain it. That unease, that stillness. It's your consciousness stretching, tuning into a different version of reality. Most people ignore it. They distract themselves until it fades, but the ones who notice, the ones who listen, they realize it's not something wrong. It's the universe whispering, greater than you just moved. So let's talk about what's actually going on in your brain when this shift happens. When you feel that weird stillness, your brain isn't breaking, it's retuning. It's switching frequencies like changing the station on an old radio. You've got waves running through your mind all the time. Beta when you're stressed, alpha when you're calm, theta when you drift into deep thought. Now here's the wild part. When your awareness jumps, your brain starts syncing to a different frequency. That's why reality feels lighter, or time slows down, or your body tingles for no reason. You're not going crazy. You're tuning in. Ever had that moment when an idea just drops into your head out of nowhere? That's not luck. That's alignment. Your brain's hemispheres start working together for once. Logic and intuition shake hands. And boom, you access a version of yourself that's always been there, just waiting. Science calls it coherence. Mystics call it awakening. But honestly, it's both. And when it happens, everything you thought was random starts to make sense. But remember, the brain is only half the story. You ever notice how two people can walk into the same room and feel completely different vibes? One person says, "Wow, this place feels peaceful," and the other's like, "Ugh, I don't like it here." Same room, same air, different frequencies. That's your reality signature, the energetic fingerprint of your awareness. It's why no two people experience life the same way. Some of us tune to fear, some to curiosity, some to love. And whatever you tune into becomes the version of reality that shows up for you. You've felt it before, when you're in flow, when things just click. You meet the right person, get the right call, find the right moment. That's not coincidence. That's you being in harmony with your own signal. Most people never realize they can change that signal. They think life just happens to them. But when you start paying attention to what you focus on, what you feel, what you expect, you start to notice the patterns shifting. Reality doesn't force you to change, it mirrors you. So ask yourself, greater than, am I living the reality they told me to believe in, or the one I actually feel inside? If this found you, it's not by chance. Your shift has already begun. Stay awake, stay curious, subscribe. The next jump is waiting for you, greater than you were called here. You ever notice how being around some people makes you calm, while others make you anxious for no reason? That's not just energy, it's physics. Your heart creates an electromagnetic field that reaches several feet beyond your body, and it talks to the world around you. When two people stand close, their heart fields start syncing up. If one's peaceful, the other starts matching that rhythm, without a word being spoken. That's why sitting next to someone who's grounded feels safe. It's not comfort, it's resonance. The same thing happens on a larger scale. Crowds, families, even whole cities vibrate together. You've felt it, right? You walk into a room and instantly know what's going on, before anyone says a word. That's your awareness reading the invisible signals, the emotional frequency of the moment. Once you start noticing it, you realize how deeply connected we all are. No thought, no word, no emotion is ever really private. We're constantly sending out waves. and catching each other's signals. So next time you feel something you can't explain around someone, don't brush it off. You're not imagining it. You're feeling the link. Have you ever noticed how time doesn't always move at the same speed? Like when you're waiting in line, 5 minutes feels like an hour, but when you're doing something you love, hours vanish in seconds. That's not imagination. That's your perception of time bending. Time isn't this cold, fixed thing we think it is. It's elastic, and your consciousness stretches or compresses it depending on your frequency. When you're anxious, your brain fires faster, measuring every second like a machine. But when you're calm, creative, or in flow, it stops counting and starts being. That's why during meditation, or even a deep talk with someone you love, time feels like it disappears. You didn't lose time. You merged with it. You stopped standing outside of the moment and finally became part of it. Here's the secret. When you shift your awareness, you don't travel through time. You reshape it. You bend your reality's rhythm to match your state. So next time, time feels strange, slower, faster, infinite. Don't fight it. You're not losing time. You're learning how to create it. You ever think about someone you haven't seen in years, and then they text you that same day? Or you look at the clock and it's 11:11 again. You smile, but deep down, you know it's not just coincidence. That's synchronicity, the universe's way of talking to you without using words. It's not magic, and it's not random. It's your consciousness becoming so tuned that it starts noticing the hidden patterns behind everything. When you're aligned, the world feels like it's responding to your thoughts. Songs play with lyrics that match your mood. Numbers repeat. Opportunities appear just when you decide you're ready. Most people miss it because they think life's supposed to be linear, but reality's more like a mirror. It reflects your frequency back at you through signs, people, and timing. So when these moments happen, don't overthink them. Don't chase them. Just notice. Smile. Acknowledge. Because that tiny moment, that click, means you and the universe are finally moving in rhythm. Synchronicity isn't strange, it's proof that you're awake. You know that moment when something inside you just clicks? When you realize you can't go back to who you were, not because you don't want to, but because that version of you doesn't exist anymore. That's the quantum shift. It's not fireworks or magic. It's quiet. It's the moment your old identity dissolves and you finally remember who you've been all along. The observer, the creator, the consciousness behind every thought. You start seeing the world differently. You stop chasing and start allowing. You stop trying to control and start trusting. Because once you realize reality mirrors your state, control becomes unnecessary. Every fear, every mistake, every heartbreak, it wasn't punishment. It was the process. It was the universe stripping away everything you're not until only the truth of you remains. So if life feels uncertain right now, breathe. You're not falling apart. You're rebuilding. The jump isn't about escaping this reality. It's about expanding into all of them. You didn't come here to learn who you are. You came to remember. If the universe speaks in signs, what message was it trying to send you today?